Okay, we are seriously excited about this one.
The EarFun Air Pro 3 was an all-time favorite of ours, and EarFun just went ahead and released a new version.
Yeah, what's different? Is it better? Well, EarFun has definitely done some mad engineering.
Namaste, we're DHRME, Dusty Hoovers robbing mad engineers. All right, let's talk about the build and design.
Let's do that, yeah.
They look very similar to the previous model. So let's take a look. We have the EarFun Air Pro 4. And as you can see, there is not a whole lot of difference. The angles are different. And and the reason for that is because the case is also different. As in, it's thinner, less bulky, that's for sure, but it's a little bit wider. Let's check out the colors that you get these in. So if you guys remember, the EarFun Air Pro 3 was available only in black, and now with the 4, they've released it in white as well. So this is how the white version looks like. So it's nice that EarFun's offering 2 colors now.
Yeah, that was always one of the critiques. Yes. Very plain. That is less bulky, as you said. There's a pairing button in the case.
Yep.
Like always.
That has not changed.
There's a colorblind friendly battery indicator up front. That has not changed. Now the battery life is an interesting one. Do you want to tell them the battery life?
Alright, so battery life is advertised at 11 hours with ANC on. We're not quite sure which codec this is on, but when we tested it with the LDAC codec, we got 5 hours and 51 minutes. And then we tested it with aptX and we got 6 hours and 2 minutes. So around the 6 hour mark.
At the highest resolution.
At the highest resolution possible.
With ANC on.
With ANC on, yes.
Okay.
So if you were to play this, use it with AAC, for example, which it also supports, you probably get a higher number as well. But decent numbers nonetheless.
Yeah, and the dimple on touch controls is still there. Very reliable as far as we are concerned. We also like the default setting that they use. They use volume control as a single tap.
So you got those touch controls on that dimple. So on the right side you see the EarFun Air Pro 4 and the left is the EarFun Air Pro 3. Exact same design when it comes to the stems and the touch surface.
So as you can see, the app lets you customize a bunch of them. So depending on which bud you have, it goes to volume up or volume down. Double tap is pause or play, and triple tap is kind of media control. Long press does ANC. So you get all the controls you need at the touch of your fingertips, and there's a reasonable bit of customization there as well. For example, if you don't like the single tap, you can just change it to play pause, because if you hit that too often, you can also disable all the touch controls, and that's also an option you can if they're getting activated accidentally. So
alright, so in terms of design and looks, these are not winning any awards.
No.
They're basically, run-of-the-mill standard stem style buds that you would come to expect. You got the EarFun logo on the case as well as on the buds itself. So here you go, and then on the buds, no different there. So they don't look bad.
No,
that's for sure. But they didn't really change up the design.
I can understand if that's one place they want to cut corners in terms of, bringing us good value buds. I would accept that. What they do have is an IPX5 waterproof rating, which is really nice. If you're into workouts or wet places in general, no dust protection.
Yeah, don't go to the beach.
No beach or dust.
Alright, so in terms of fit, these were very good. I did have to change the default tips though, because they came with large. And well, first of all, tips, you get 5 sizes of tips in the box case. So that's 1 more than the previous model gave you. And so I had to change out the L to the M tips.
Yeah, exactly same.
Yeah.
It's strange that they chose to have those on as default.
Correct.
I was putting them in and they kept falling out.
Yeah. So I did that, and and we've seen this from the 3 as well, and on the 4. They are round tips, and we always say round is, great for a seal, but may not be great for comfort. So, but these have been really comfortable for me, even though they're rounded. Yeah. Were they good for you as well?
Also very comfortable. Not so secure for me, I must say. They fall out a little bit more than some other tips.
Correct. Yeah, the seal is good. The fit isn't like super secure, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. 5 sizes of tips. Nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Something to sneeze at is what you talked about, occlusion. Yeah. So if you put them in your ear and talk, you do get that kind of resonating within your skull effect. So yeah,
that's not a nice feeling, and that's something that I've noticed with just keeping the buds in my ears, putting it into transparency mode, and then just having a conversation with people. I felt that, but also while doing calls with these buds.
Let's talk about calls.
Let's do that.
Let's talk about popsicles. Let's talk about icicles. Let's talk about tests.
Alright guys, this is a mic test on the EarFun Air Pro 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, testing, 1, 2, 3.
So the amount of cars are reducing right now in the background for this noisy test. So you can just kind of hear how I sound right now. So we're going to be testing the EarFun Air Pro 4 after this, but these are the 3s, and here are a few more cars. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's move to the next one. Alright, now we're on the EarFun Air Pro 4 with cars in the background. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cars are reducing a little bit. There is one truck coming, and after that, we're going to wait a little bit, but at least you can hear how I sound with not too much noise in the background. No cars whooshing by. But yeah, very curious what you guys think compared to the previous version. This is the 4 compared to the 3. In terms of looks, guys, it doesn't really look that different, right? It looks the same. But we're very curious if the calls have improved. They were pretty decent before, but calls are a hard nut to crack. So we hope they've improved them. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Now let's try it softly with some more cards. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's move on to the windy conditions, guys. All right, I'm on a bike with the EarFun Air Pro 3 in windy conditions. You can see the wind speed over here as I pick up the speed. All right, here we go. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, biking here with the EarFun Air Pro 4 in windy conditions. You can see how much wind there is on this meter over here. Here we go. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3.
All right, those were the phone calls. What did you guys think? This is what we thought. In noisy, there was slight bump up in clarity and loudness of the voice.
Yeah.
But it was equally bad when speaking softly.
Yeah, they didn't change much. And in windy conditions, there was actually no noticeable difference. They sounded pretty much the same. You heard the wind a little bit, but in general, these are quite audible and clear for calls outdoors, guys.
Yeah.
So as long as you speak up, that's the conclusion.
No mumbling.
Yeah, not like me.
Yeah.
What about the Fuckman?
The Fuckman, yeah. No mute controls, not in this generation either, but you do get answer, hang up, and volume on calls, which is pretty important as well.
Yeah, and you can't change the ANC mode on the buds.
Yeah.
So, but you can go into the app and then change it there.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
Something
Doesn't want to interfere with hanging up a call.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Extra features. This time they do come with an experimental section in the app, as you can see here, and that experimental section has Google Fast Pair, which I'm very happy to see. And the Google Fast Pair worked pretty well, so I don't know why they put it in experimental. Maybe they're still testing it, but it works. LE audio is also part of that experimental section.
Yeah.
So it also has multi-point, as Kevin will demonstrate here. And very nice thing is that the multi-point does show you a list of devices that you've connected to in the past, and you can switch from the app. Here we're enabling multi-point, and you see it's come on. You can disconnect from one of the devices and reconnect to another one. So multi-point worked well in our testing. There is one exception where you can't use multi-point. Come to that in a bit.
Yeah.
What are the extras?
Well, yeah, just like the previous model, you got a wear sensor, so you can take the buds out of your ears, it'll pause your audio and resume once you put it back in.
Yeah.
The app is very similar. You get the customization in terms of the controls. You can disable those controls like we saw. You can update the firmware. There's game mode. There's an EQ, which we'll talk about in a bit. ANC controls, which are also interesting to talk about. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about ANC to
Yeah.
begin with.
So ANC came in at tier A for the previous model, but also for this model.
Okay. Didn't go up to TRS.
No, but they did a decent job, canceling out noise across all the frequencies. Strangely enough though, compared to the Air Pro 3, they suppressed the lows and the mids a tiny bit less, which is interesting. Yeah. But what they've also done is thrown in a bunch of, you guessed it, AI features. If you go into noise cancelling, you see a whole list of types of noise cancelling, because on the previous model, you only had wind noise cancelling as an option to turn on and off. Now you have strong, balance, which tries to kind of balance wearing comfort with noise reduction. It has AI environment adaptive ANC, which is just adaptive noise cancelling. We'll talk about how that actually performed in a bit. And then there is AI ear adaptive ANC, which is it detects the fit in your ear and then changes the noise cancelling. And then there's wind noise cancelling.
Yeah.
But guys, I tried this out. I was biking around my city, with these buds in. I was changing the modes with traffic around me. And let me just say that all the AI stuff didn't actually do anything. It didn't change. It didn't,
It's very slight, even if something happens.
maybe, but I didn't notice it.
You didn't even
That's
notice
the
it,
thing. Yeah. What I did notice though was the wind noise reduction. That one was really good. And it was good on the previous model too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, because that's a tricky feature to implement well. We've seen this, right?
Yeah.
People say they've got wind noise reduction, and what it basically does is it kind of blocks out everything. The
Yeah.
noise and the wind.
Yeah.
And here, the wind is gone, but you still hear a lot of your ambient noise.
Oh, really?
So I felt safe
Okay.
wearing these in wind reduction mode. Yeah.
Okay.
These are for you, man.
Okay.
You just go into full noise
I
cancelling.
want noise cancelling. I don't want to hear all these idiots. Anyway,
Yeah.
very few buds do this, so that's a good job.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Enough transparency in that mode, and you have transparency in other modes as well.
You do. And here again, didn't change. Still on tier A. It was on tier A. The new one is still tier A. Really good transparency. It improved a little bit compared to the Air Pro 3 and letting in more of the low end and amplifying the overall volume.
Okay. Nice.
But I will say something that they haven't been able to improve from the previous model, and I was actually hoping for, along with that occlusion, is the white noise.
Yeah.
So if you're in a quiet space and you put it in transparency mode, you're going to hear that white noise.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Sound quality.
Sound quality. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the biggest upgrades for me on this is the fact that, like the edifier we reviewed before this is the second device that we've seen that does both aptX lossless as well as LDAC. So all Android phones are pretty much covered in that sense. If you have an aptX Snapdragon phone, you can use that. If you have an older phone, or if you have a Samsung phone, you can even use it on just the basic aptX, which they support. So that's nice. Unfortunately, it's either LDAC or multi-point. You can't do both, but with aptX you can.
Okay.
So that's good to know.
So here you see that if you choose LDAC, you will not get multi-point. So it is a choice between the two. And like Rowan said, you can go ahead and choose aptX adaptive, and you can still use multi-point with that. So that's probably the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I think this is only the second device I'm seeing that does both.
Wow. Okay.
I had a feeling in the beginning that aptX was an exclusive thing that Snapdragon made you do, but now apparently it's not. So
Cool.
that's good news for us customers.
Yeah.
It's not anti-customer. That's what the app toggle was, which we just saw. There's also LE audio, which we talked about, and we said it's in experimental mode. They do say there are some issues. Maybe that's why it's turned off by default. I don't know, but we need to look into that a little bit more as to what those issues are. Now let's go to tuning. So let's talk a little bit about how these earbuds sound and the graphs that we've generated for them. So let's go to the browser here. So this is the EarFun Air Pro 4 sound signature. So this is Harman hugging for the most part. As you can see, it's very nicely done. I think it's a very tasteful sound. I like the tuning on the treble, not very spiky, and I like the mids as well. There's not much of a dip there. The bass here looks good, right? My only concern is the quality of the bass, and that's kind of been my concern with the EarFun products for quite a while. They have this kind of woolly nature, which is very, the attack is very slow. Not my favorite bit, but what they have done compared to the Air Pro 3 is they've turned that bass down quite a bit. And this is the Air Pro 3 after the big update where they changed the tuning. So you see here that the bass is not as prevalent, let's say, as it was on the Air Pro 3. I also like that they've kind of made it a bit brighter sounding, and overall I like the tuning of the 4 better than the 3. So compliments to EarFun on that. So on sound, definitely a slight upgrade from the Air Pro 3. And of course, you're gonna get all the goodies in the app, the EarFun. The presets look like a carousel now, but you have custom EQ. And you also have a My Sound profile, which you can do a sound test on. I haven't tested that, but yeah, that option is there as well. And at this price point, pretty awesome that they're giving you that. So overall for sound, very happy with these.
So one thing I will say is that I noticed when I play audio, I hear it first in my left earbud and then the right one. So there's a bit of a delay.
How big a delay are we talking? 1 second or less?
1 second.
I think I had that with the 3 as well.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Could be. Yeah, but this is something that I noticed.
What codec were you using? Maybe that has something.
I will need to check. I think that was aptX.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, it wasn't. It was AAC because it was connected to my iPhone and my MacBook at the time. Yeah. So it was AAC.
Cool. Yeah. Good to know. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't like, it just takes a while to kind of start up.
Yeah.
I guess.
Every time you play and pause or whatever.
So that was the sound. That was the NC. We talked about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
What is our conclusion, Kevin? Okay, let's start with, is this a compelling product by itself? You know, because yes, we can compare it and price and this and that, but by itself, is it a good product? I think you have a slightly different conclusion than I do, or not. Okay, what's your conclusion? Let's go with that.
So I really loved the Air Pro 3, and you're right, if we don't compare it to it, we're still getting an excellent product here. I think if you look at, you know, things like comfort, yes, it's comfortable. It's got multi-point. It's still got that IPX5 rating. Controls are good. They're customizable. I like the wind reduction mode.
Yeah.
ANC transparency, tier A. Calls are very good as long as I don't mumble.
Yeah.
So
package.
It's got the whole package. But is it really better
than the Air Pro 3?
Than the Air Pro 3? Well, a couple of things, right? I mean,
yeah. So one thing we must say about the Air Pro 3, we reviewed it and there have been like tons of updates after that, and it's gotten even better than when we first reviewed it. So that's something to keep in mind when buying this company's products. I think they've been good about updates, and what we hear also that they're good about customer service. We never had to deal with that obviously, but yeah, people do say that. So in general, happy with the EarFun. The Air Pro 3, as you said, great product. I think there would be a couple of reasons to upgrade to Air Pro 4 that I can think of. One is if you don't have an aptX enabled phone, this gives you, you know, LDAC as well, so you can be more flexible with your ecosystem, let's say. Other than that, the tuning is a bit better, but I don't see many other difference. Calls are marginally better. There's an additional white color. There's things like that. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, there's...
Yeah, I mean, you get another extra size of tips if, you know, you're someone who happens to just not get that right fit. Maybe your chances are improved. And the case in your pocket will be less bulgy, you know, a slight design change, but for people who want portability. But like we said, you get pretty much everything from the previous one as well.
So is it objectively better? Yes.
Yeah.
For certain people.
Yeah.
And it does boil down to price because the Air Pro 3, as we saw in the recent Prime Day sale, they were discounted like crazy.
Yeah.
Selling like hotcakes as well.
Yeah.
From what we saw in the comments, everybody said I'm buying it. So yeah, if you have the 3, I think there is some reason you might want to upgrade, but for most of us, I don't think we would want to upgrade to the 4.
Right.
But from the 2 or from, you know, another set of buds, definitely a good proposition.
Yeah, because the EarFun Air Pro 3 retails for around 80, but we've seen it being discounted, so... Alright guys, editor Kevin here. So after we shot this video, EarFun actually released the price in US dollars. So as we can see, it's $90 now. So if it's a similar price and you don't have the Air Pro 3, get it. If you have it, I'd say stick to it unless you need that improved sound quality.
Yeah, it's a marginal difference. There are some advantages, but both great products. So I tip my hat to EarFun.
Nice. And we also tip our hats. My metaphorical hat as well. Thanks a bunch for your support, guys, as always, and a special thanks goes out to our Fuck Montier members.
Gamer Panda and Paula. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. EarFun sent us these products, guys. Just a quick disclaimer, but this is an independent review. No money exchanged hands, etc., etc.
You've been having 4 times the EarFun.
We've been DHRME.
Do we?